Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. I am Nick Barris. It is a Monday. We're coming to you live and direct. This is live. As you're hearing me now, it's live. It's not taped. It's the real deal. And that means we can talk. You can call real time, and we'll get the phone number up if you have a pet. If you're thinking of getting a pet, if you have a question about food, fleas, ticks, whatever, as this time of year comes around, things start getting cold, what you need to do, we'll open up the phone lines to whatever questions you may have about veterinary care with our veterinarian extraordinaire, which is the way I always started off, veterinarian extraordinaire. To know her is to love her. You can't get enough of her, okay? That's Allison Fields.
I bet you say that to all the veterinarians.
I do, and you're the really only one that comes on this show.
I know. Okay.
But you're the best.
Thanks.
You and I go back and forth. Allison is the best. She's an animal lover and knows her stuff when it comes to all things animals. So come on, you got pets. Give us a call. You got a question, some odd behavior, what? Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen you, I guess. I don't know if I'd been gone. When was the last? Were you on last month?
Yeah.
With me?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think so.
Mary Elena.
No, it wasn't me. I was on with her last month. Well, a lot has been going on. It's not as though I forget her.
So here's
I know
the thing.
her.
We're a week late because I was out of town last week and I couldn't come. So it feels like it's been a whole lot longer.
I'm serious. I mean, it seems longer, so I'm sure than you were with me.
It's been like 5 or 6 weeks instead of our normal 4 to 5.
Okay, that's it. Well, I missed you, and I'm glad you're here.
I missed you.
So anything that we should throw out there, just this typical time of year stuff you want to hit on?
It's getting cold. Make sure any outdoor animals have shelter, water that won't freeze. If you have outdoor animals, they do sell heated water bowls to make sure that they don't freeze. We see animals in the wintertime that will get dehydrated because their water bowls have frozen over. So make sure they have good shelter, insulation, warmth, whatever that you need to do to keep them warm for the winter, and then good food in running water. Yeah,
you're right about the ice. You see that doesn't do them any good. What do you recommend if you happen to have a dog that prefers to be outdoors and you have a and that's where they stay and you've got a nice dog house for them? What's a good insulation for them aside from just making sure that the building itself is insulated? But I mean, cedar chips or a blanket or what works well for a dog?
Typically things that can hold air. So like hay that can fluff up, that can have an insulation of air. Which can be very helpful. And also you don't want a ginormous house. You want it small enough that they can get in there, turn around, lay down, but the bigger it is, the more body heat they have to use to heat it. That's how they heat their houses, is body heat. So the smaller it is, and I don't mean this big, but if it fits them appropriately, it's going to heat up quicker and keep them warmer. Easier for them.
Okay. It's so funny. You and I have been doing this for so long. It's great that you were coming on this show when we had our pet stray cat that we took in called Smoke, and I still remember asking you, like, she likes to stay outside. We have her in the garage, but it's cold, and I say, I have this box that maybe, we can put one of those special heat lamps in, and you have to get the right type from the vet clinic to make sure it's not one that would start a fire, but is just warm. And she said, well, Nick, just put it out there, turn on the light, and just leave it there. And I go, but she doesn't know. She's not going to go in there. She doesn't like them. She goes, Nick, just do it. The next day I'm out there looking all around for Smoke. Where the heck's Smoke? Where was Smoke? In the box. You called it.
They're good. They'll find those little hidey holes.
She found it when it was hot and it was warm in there, and it was great, and she loved it. So that's sometimes for cats. They will jump on that. You are a sage, and that is what you do, so it's no surprise. Like when we got mashed tater, no teeth. Okay, we've got to give her soft food, and you said, Nick, put down kibble and see what happens. Not giant kibble, but big enough for her mouth. She goes, put down kibble, see what happens, Nick.
She's eating it.
And that kibble, so kibble of that type, and it's not, we just got our basic type, will naturally, you don't have to chew it and crunch it up. The stomach in these animals will dissolve it in there. It's water soluble.
I mean, most dogs don't macerate their food. They, my dog takes a mouthful of kibble and probably crunches half of what's in her mouth and the rest goes down whole. I mean, that's just how it happens.
No, you're right. Pugs.
Right?
They inhale it. Do animals taste food?
Yes, they taste food. Are they discriminatory about what they're tasting? I don't think so. I really don't.
No.
I mean, because my dog gets just as excited. Well, she's not big on vegetables. She will eat some vegetables, but I think that she's kind of like, yeah, this doesn't really taste like anything. But other than that, I think that most dogs are just like, yep, it's good, or no, it's not good. I don't think it's like, ooh, prime rib. I think that falls into the good pile.
So more likely what would set them away from it would not be taking a bite and saying, I just don't like the taste. It would be the smell first. Perhaps with a dog, if they smell it and it smells like this is rotten, or it smells chemical, or something that puts them off, they won't. Maybe you think that, because I'll tell you, Rocky, if he sees me holding something and eating it,
Rocky's a pug,
and it could be anything, and I put it could be anything on the face of the earth.
You could act like you're eating a nut and bolt and drop it, and Rocky would eat it. He's a pug. They're the Hoovers of the dog world. Drop it, they eat it.
Why do they like to eat so much? Unknown, but they love it. Get in my belly.
I have taken more foreign bodies out of a pug at one time than any other breed. Like, I remember one of my first foreign bodies when I was a baby veterinarian. I took out like a necklace, a googly eye from a stuffed animal, an earring, a hair ribbon.
Now, these are items they consumed that would not digest.
Correct.
And you had to go
they were all in his
remove.
stomach. I mean, they were like, I had like this, I can't even remember everything that was in there, but there were like 8 or 9 things that were in this dog.
You know, there is something within our bodies as humans where when we eat enough and we get full, there's a chemical or some connector that tells our brain, all right, you know what, we're getting crowded down here. That doesn't exist in pugs. Okay, I mean, I just think that's been cut somewhere.
Yeah.
And yet they will eat until they are so stuffed they will puke, and then they will eat their puke.
Yes.
Sorry for that morning fare, but that's the truth.
Well, and most dogs will do that. They'll eat their puke, but pugs will just they are the Hoovers of the dog world.
Okay, enough of this. Look, the phone lines are open. We've got more to talk about, but crazy dogs. 737-7587. If you have a question or comment for our veterinarian, before we take our first break, we had some people that have already called in. Lisa, you can call back if you want, if your phone line broke off, because you were going to be first. But next up is Donna. Hi, Donna.
Hi.
Hey, what's up?
Good morning.
I actually have 2 quick questions for you. I have a 9-pound Chihuahua Yorkie, and his stomach was not handling Blue Buffalo food. It was very rich. So he has been put on a Purina veterinary diet, the kind that you have to have with the prescription. And I had read recently some not so great things about Purina brand, just the regular dog food. So I wanted your opinion on the EN diet. And then my second question is, whenever we take him anywhere in the car, he weighs 9 pounds. I always put him in a crate. And I wondered your opinion on a crate for travel versus a harness. And I will get off the phone and let you answer. Thank you.
Let's do the crate, a harness first. I have seen crates that have been thrown from cars with dogs in them in bad accidents. I've seen seatbelt / harnesses that don't hold. I think it's 6 one, half dozen the other. If you have some kind of restraint, I think that that's great, and you're way ahead of the rest of the population. So either one, your choice. As for the food, this is a topic that I can go off on for a very long time. Depending on where you read something on the internet, you can find proof of whatever you want. Is the sky purple? We can find it. Seriously. So whatever you're reading, you can find another page that will tell you the complete opposite. I think Purina is a great food. I think that Purina has been, what I look for in dog food and cat foods are things that have been around for a long time and have done the research to prove it. Purina's been around for, I think, over 100 years. Their facility out in Kansas City, Missouri is amazeballs. So I think that they're a great food. I think that wherever you're reading, you can find something bad about them. You can go to a different webpage and find something bad about Rachel Ray. You can go to a different webpage and find something wrong with Dick Van Patten. And why are celebrities selling dog food? I don't know. That's a whole nother hour of conversation. But I think it's a great food. Everybody's going to tell you that byproducts are bad. What's a byproduct, Nick?
A byproduct is an additive to some type of food, right?
Really?
Or is it is it a binder?
Okay, we're going to learn what byproducts are today.
Okay.
Byproducts are organ meat, liver, kidney, heart. Where do you find
brain?
I don't think brain.
Okay.
Where do you find liver, kidney, and heart on human menus? all over the rest of the civilized world and uncivilized. I mean, it's a good, full of nutrients. Liver is great.
Yeah, I love liver.
Right. It's all good for you. That's what byproducts are. They're organ meat. So all of these companies have gone out on this huge, it's a media crusade to make you like their food better. Take the blue challenge. You'll be feeling horrible because you've been feeding your dog something else. I'm not saying blue's bad food. I'm just saying that their media has convinced you that byproducts are bad, and they're not. Byproducts are full of nutrients. They're just organ meat. So a lot of people out there and a lot of websites will say that this is bad and this is bad, and don't get me started on the whole grain thing. Grains are not bad for dogs. Some dogs may have allergies to grains, just like some people. I think it's like 1% of the population is celiac, but it's the trend right now that everyone is gluten-free. They're not celiac. They don't really have allergies to gluten. They may feel better not eating gluten, and that's great, but they're not truly allergic. Same thing with dogs. So bottom line, Purina Ian is a great food. How's your dog doing on it? I bet he's probably doing great. So I think it's a great food. I think Purina is a great food. I think IAMS is a great food. I think Science Diet is a great food. I think Blue is a good food. I think that pretty much all of the foods out there, as long as they are certified by AAFCO, AAFCO, which is the Association of Animal Feed and something organization, then they're meeting all of the requirements that are needed for a healthy and sustainable life. So if they have that stamp, you're feeding a healthy food. It's just a matter of what ingredients you have been convinced are good or bad for your animal at that time, based on media bias. Have a great day.
I think you're right on the number. So do what works for your pet. And where your pet looks like it's thriving.
And talk to your veterinarian. You know, one of the worst things that can happen is for you to feed your dog 47 different protein sources. You know, oh, well, I was feeding this, and then I went to a grain-free food, and I fed lamb, and then I fed salmon, and then we were on that bison, and then we were on this.
There's trout, too.
Right. I'm sure there is. There's probably like red ant food.
I think there's kangaroo.
There is. So what happens is when you then come to the veterinarian and we think that your dog has a food allergy, we can't help you without spending $100 on a bag of food, because you have exposed your dog to every possible food out there, and not in the appropriate way. You haven't done a true food trial. You haven't done it for as long as you need to. You haven't eliminated absolutely everything else. And so now all of those foods that you've tried are off limits for us for trying to help your dog. So feed your dog the same protein source, chicken, beef, lamb. Let's pick a more common one so that when it goes on back order, you can still feed your dog.
Great. We may talk more about food throughout the program. If you have more questions, jump in, because you can tell it's an issue close to her heart.
Button.
Yeah, it is. Let's go to Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
Hey, go ahead.
I've got a cat. She's about 9 years old, and we took her to the vet last week, and they said she had ringworm, or tapeworm, from eating fleas. We have treated her for the fleas, and she is still scratching really bad. How can I get rid of these fleas?
Well, what did you use to treat the fleas?
We've got some of the Advantage we put between her shoulder blades.
Okay. So Advantage is a great flea control. The trick with any flea control that you're using is the fleas have to get on her in order to die. So what that's telling me is that more than likely, if she's an indoor cat, then we probably have some fleas hatching out in the house. That doesn't mean your house is completely overrun with fleas, but it means that there are new fleas that are finding your cat. So a couple things that we can do that are easy and inexpensive to break this cycle is continue the use of the Advantage on your cat. You may want to talk to your vet about using it every 3 weeks for the next couple of applications, just to make sure we're not losing any potency. But you can vacuum really well. Not that you don't already vacuum really well, but vacuum really well. Vacuum your upholstery. Vacuum under your couch and your chairs. Flea eggs, when they hatch out, the larvae like dark places, so they tend to go underneath furniture. So lift up that furniture, vacuum really well, vacuum the furniture, take the cushions off. If she sleeps on the bed, just pull your comforter off and wash it in hot water and detergent. And if you can do this once a week for the next month, you are going to hugely impact the number of fleas that are hatching out in your house and the number of fleas that your cat has.
Awesome. Listen, let's take a break on that. We've got a bunch of calls coming in. We've got some lines open if you want to jump in. Love to talk to you between now and 9 o'clock. If you're on hold, Amanda, Chris, Jordan, Brian, and others, we'll get to you right after this. Stay with us.